Since Saturday, have you spoken to Ed Woodward? Do you feel as though you need to speak to Ed Woodward?
That's private matter. I'm not asking you who did you speak yesterday or this morning or your last phone call. That's private matter. I'm not going to answer to you.
Sid Lowe with us. Sid, another private matter has come to light regarding a conversation that apparently happened between Zidane and Jose Mourinho. Mourinho was asked about this, and in fact, it was the journalist who wrote the story who was behind the person who was asking the question initially, and Mourinho said, "Well, ask him." Apparently, Zidane called Jose Mourinho to say basically, "Look, I'm not after your job."
Yeah, and I think that makes sense, because Zidane is very careful to be seen to do the right thing. I'm not entirely convinced he necessarily wants the Manchester United job, and certainly doesn't want it in a scenario in which he would be seen as having instigated the move for that. I think when you look at the way that Zidane took the job at Real Madrid, there may even be certain parallels, in that Zidane was there with Real Madrid Castilla, of course, the B team, when Benitez was under a huge amount of pressure. Everybody knew that if Benitez was sacked before the end of the season, in other words, at a stage at which Real Madrid weren't really in a position to go, casting for new managers, then Zidane would take that job. Zidane, of course, was in regular contact with the president. Zidane had not made any real secret of the fact that at some stage he would want to be Real Madrid manager. But even in that sort of scenario, in which no one, apart from Benitez, would have been annoyed to have seen Zidane kind of position himself, he was very careful about how he did it. And he was very careful about not being seen to effectively try and barge someone out of the way and take their job. And so I think this is entirely consistent with the way in which Zidane behaves. And I don't believe, I think it's genuine as well. I don't believe he's in a position where he wants to force any kind of issue in terms of his next job.
But if Woodward came to him, Sid, and said, "Do you want this job?" would he take it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Honestly, of course, I think we all know that it would be very difficult to turn down Manchester United, but I think you also have to make beyond the fact that it's a huge club, beyond the fact that Zidane will look at that squad and think there are some players there who are very good indeed, and maybe I could do something with it. I also think he'll look at that squad and see some of the problems that Jose Mourinho's had, and I think we need to be perhaps broaden the perspective a bit, and it's not just about Mourinho, and Zidane will be very well aware of the flaws within that squad as well. Does he want it? I honestly can't give you an answer to that. My feeling is, because of the way that this was, the way that his departure from Real Madrid was done, my feeling is his preference would be to get his new job in the summer rather than now. But, Man United call you up. It's very difficult to say no.
Real Madrid in action this week against CSKA Moscow. Sid, what's that with Madrid at the moment? Terrible against Sevilla, a bit flat in the derby. What's going on?
Well, I think what we saw, I mean, obviously we saw the best performance of the season, and actually the best performance of, I think, the last 3 or 4 years, maybe even against Roma, although it's difficult to calibrate just how good Roma are. In La Liga, the first 2 or 3 games were really quite impressive. We saw a different identity to a Madrid team, wanting to play higher up, wanting much more possession, being much more of a collective approach, but they hadn't yet proven that against the bigger teams. They went away to San Mamés and drew, and you sort of think, well, drawing at San Mamés is about normal. They went away to Sevilla and were beaten, and heavily beaten, 3-0. And even that, you kind of think, well, this is sort of normal. Bear in mind that Real Madrid have lost 5 of their last 6 visits to Sevilla, and then they get a draw with Atletico Madrid. And even that is sort of normal, because Atletico Madrid have now gone 6 seasons in a row without being beaten at the Bernabeu in the league. But put the 3 together, and it does feel like they're not creating the chances that they should do. They may be having quite a lot of the ball, but there's a lack of efficiency. There's a lack of ability to take the opportunities, the few that they make. There's maybe that little lack of a touch of aggression. And you know what we were saying a couple of weeks ago when we were saying, well, no, this side is showing that can live without Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, now, inevitably, the debate has come back and says, well, can they?
After the Roma game, we thought, oh, Real Madrid looking good, everything's great.
Well, Roma are not great defensively.
Yes.
I will say that. And so they were able to take that apart. When you look at Atletico Madrid, they're renowned for being defensively strong, although they've made a few mistakes early on in the season. It's another Champions League year for Real Madrid. It looks like, domestically it's been a little bit up and down, but this is the competition.
They're top of the table.
Sorry?
They're on top of the table with Barca. It's not all doom and gloom domestically.
What was your question to Sid then?
Well, it was what's going wrong. They've only picked up 1 point in their last 2 matches.
Well, you've just told me the top of the table. Make your mind up.
No, but you've just completely written off their La Liga chances. I didn't go that far. I just asked what was going on.
Oh, I didn't write the
You said it's going to be another Champions League season.
I didn't write the La Liga chances off. Of course I didn't, because Barcelona have not been playing great, and Atletico Madrid started the season a little bit slowly, but they do look strong. But at the end of the day, they're this is a side that just loves the Champions League. That was my point.
You just got to be careful. He gets sensitive.
Hypocrite.
Hey, you.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Extra Time. Come on, Craig, pay attention. Here we go. Good. Not me going out. That's it. Sid's here, everyone. Beautiful Sid Lowe. Sid, what's the most surprising aspect of Barcelona's struggles so far?
I suppose just how bad they've been at the back, because you know you can anticipate some of the other problems they've had, but they've been so bad at the back. That I think has been the most striking thing so far this season.
What are your favourite goal celebrations of all time? What was your celebration? I saw you make it rain once.
I remember my celebration when I had that assist against Spurs.
What was your celebration? Did you put your hand up like...
I just turned around and just ran back.
No, but you give it a like,
oh, that's such a great...
Is that when you ran up and you went for a header?
Yes,
and
I fooled everybody.
You may have turned your back.
I fooled everybody.
If you haven't seen this, check it out on Shaka's Twitter timeline, because it is brilliant.
Oh, it's on your timeline. It's not on like, a YouTube's goal selection.
It's not like Stevie.
Like Stevie Nicol. Now you can find my goal selection if you go to YouTube.
Ali, I've seen you make it rain.
I made it rain. I used to dance.
Did you?
Yeah, I used to break it down. Once I sang.
I used to break it down.
Yeah.
Did you ever dance, Craig?
I sang Birthday to myself once. It was my birthday and I scored a goal, so I went like this.
Oh, yes. What was your celebration?
I don't know. I went for a little slide once on my...
Did you?
Once.
On your front?
On my front.
That was, you can also see that on the timeline, because somebody was tweeting it to me.
Oh, really?
Well, wishing me happy birthday, and then I enjoyed the responses.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do all those dances. We didn't do that back then.
No?
No, I don't do that.
Get in.
Just get in, have it.
You used to run up to one of your opponents. Yeah, get in, yeah.
Whoa, that was very close.
Or you'd run off to the bench and, like, start a... Because there's always a bit of aggro. It's all too nice now. Managers and coaches and players.
Everybody's far too happy when they score now.
No, they're all happy before the game. I mean, short of the opposition high-fiving the scorers now, everybody just wants to hug each other on the field.
Sid, your goal celebration. What's the best goal celebration you've seen?
Yeah, I think the best one I've seen was one time at Anoeta when Antoine Griezmann was playing for Real Sociedad, and Anoeta, a bit like it used to be at Chelsea, you know, when there used to be that big space behind the goal, and there were literally cars parked on the space behind the goal, because of course Anoeta used to have a running track. Antoine Griezmann scores this brilliant goal, runs off the pitch, jumps over the advertising boards, opens the door of the car, gets in the car, all his teammates pile in as well, and they're all sitting in the car pretending to drive it, waving out the window, looking like a family that's just won family fortunes. It was absolutely brilliant.
Wouldn't it have been funny if the referee kicked off the game again?
With them all stuck in the car. Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Sid, weren't we in Spain together when someone did, you know where you've got the arm and you put the arm underneath like a fist, and it goes, and someone did it for like 24 times from one end of the pitch to the other?
Get the violin, will you?
Yeah, that was... I think I remember Giovanni doing that. Giovanni did that for Barcelona, and I remember Ruud van Nistelrooy doing it once for Real Madrid, and afterwards apologising because he didn't realise that in Spain this was quite so offensive. So, he kind of backtracked fairly quickly. The other one was Dani Alves. I remember once scoring for Sevilla just before Christmas. And he scores this goal and he pulls out of his shorts, obviously out of his pants for it to be down there, this Father Christmas hat, and he puts it on his head. Now, if I point out at this stage that this goal came in something like the 75th minute, as Dani Alves said, it was getting a bit itchy down there.
Oh, do you like that? Do you like that? Reminiscing again.
Oh, me and Sid can reminisce. Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember, Sid, when you and I, remember when I was back in Spain, Sid? And we used to.
That was lovely.
You would.
You know the worst.
To go to game together.
If we really want to reminisce, the worst celebrations I've seen have been when Dan finally pots the black in a game of pool. those are normally quite bad.
I thought you were going to say buy a drink.
You would
no,
trade
I'm
us.
surprised.
You would trade us.
No,
I'm right. I'm
that'd be
All
daft.
three of us.
I'm
would
surprised,
You would do that deal right
right.
now.
I'm surprised Sid never picked out a Steve Nicol celebration. A bit of a love in there with the Liverpool days, isn't there? The old halcyon.
Steve Nicol.
The halcyon days. Do you know what was a funny
Steve
celebration?
Obviously, the best.
Go on, Sid.
It's all yours.
I was going to say the best celebration of all is remember that very famous Johnny Method free kick where he hits it from about 7 million yards out and it just keeps on rising and it never stops. It keeps rising into the top of the goal, goes right in the middle, hits so hard that the goalie just kind of gets out of the way, and then Johnny Method just sort of stands there pointing. And it was just like the celebration to go with the goal that says, no messing around, stop being stupid, have that.
Used to call him
That's the way it should be.
my old coach, we nicknamed him Johnny Method.
I've never heard of this person in my life.
You never heard of Johnny Method?
No.
Well, who did he play for? He went to sign for Nottingham. No, he signed for Nottingham Forest.
That was Forest, wasn't it?
He signed for Nottingham Forest from. Not sure, I can't remember.
Right. I feel
Big-
like we're
We've gone sideways a bit.
A lot of our viewers.
Big, tall, baldy.
Right.
Anyway, one of the best.
How's that baldy? Surely that's long.
I'd say one of the funniest-
Formerly this.
I don't know if this is on YouTube or not, but one of the funniest celebrations I saw, and I think it was Watford, but I might be wrong. They were doing this celebration where they all got on their backs and they'll put the legs in the air.
Right.
And done this, whatever it was they were doing. And Mick Harford just so happened to be playing at the end of his career. He was in the opposition team, and he just, as they were all on the floor, he just stepped through them all. In a very angry fashion. And I played with Mick. You don't say, what are you doing?
What was the best celebration that someone did once they scored against you? Anyone?
I scored
Well, we
against
had
you.
one. We had one against Panama, and the national stadium in Panama
I'm gonna find
has
this.
this track thing, right?
Yeah.
And they have a high jump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. So we're getting killed, and Panama scores. I think it's the third goal. They're winning 3-1. It's about the 90th minute. Then the goal scorer goes and does the high jump up over the bar.
Yeah.
And so here comes the other guy, and about 3 guys get over. One of the chunky guys on the back, he tries to go, doesn't quite make it over, just runs through the bar, and then jumps on the podium.
What do you call that? Is it Flusbury Flop? What's the name of it?
Fosbury Flop.
Fosbury Flop.
I can't find this.
I have no idea what you just said.
You know when they do the woo?
Yeah?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
What do they do?
What are the chances of Craig? What are the chances Craig Burley could kick a water bottle off Dan Thomas's head like Phil Mickelson?
Oh, well, pretty easy, bearing in mind you're very small.
Your leg can get up that high.
My leg can
Although
get-
he's got his
I'd like to see him try, though.
he's got his new kicks on today.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen,
look at that.
New shoes.
That's young
We got
people's
new
kicks.
shoes.
listen.
Young people.
Where's your
Young people's.
skateboard?
That's
Where's your
Vans.
skateboard?
Young people's kicks.
I've only
Look at them, baby.
Hey, the skateboard is outside.
Man,
Get your helmet on.
those kicks scream midlife crisis.
look at them. I'll have you know my daughter bought me them for my birthday.
Boy.
Van's midlife crisis.
My daughter.
You know why he got them?
Right.
Let me see those.
It's following mine.
Oh, you just trying to be like
That's
that.
it, you just trying to
See
be
on
like
Vans as well.
Hold on, what make are they?
Vans.
Oh yeah, well, mate, she did.
Yeah, that's it.
She did make.
Games.
Although rather worrying, if I'm copying somebody that has to be taken shopping by an individual because you can't do it yourself.
Well, I need help.
And by the way,
help for lots of
and it
things.
falls down on its backside, right here. Because never wear a stripe with a check. And you're as bad.
Right.
You're a bad Jack.
Never wear a stripe with a check. It's too busy.
When is the half pipe being built in the backyard?
What?
Yeah, that is a problem.
Hey, listen, because you guys dress a bit older. Listen, hey.
Do you need your reading glasses for this segment?
Yeah? What's wrong? Do you know there's kids wear reading glasses? But it's not a definition of age.
No, but
It's a definition of bad eyesight, you dumb muppet.
It seems your bad eyesight has come because of age.
I was actually going to swear there, and then I just stopped myself for obvious reasons.
well, good.
A sacking.
Well done.
Wouldn't it be nice to see...
Old
do
age will
you think Nicol will ever wear a pair of Vans?
not unless they're free.
Well, I could just see these kind of like smart casual shoes going with his big baggy jeans.
Do you think so? Oh dear. Right, let's get
His
out of
feet
here.
would never fit into
That's
that.
enough of this. Shaka's got a few days off.
So anyway, the answer to the question is, it would be very easy to get my foot over your head.
Oh yeah, back to the.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that.
No way you could do it.
Go on, stand up, go on.
Oh boy.
Go on.
I don't think my insurance covers it.
Go on. Let's see.
What are we doing here? What's going to happen?
Hold on. There you go. Get your glasses. Get your glasses off. Get your glasses off his head.
First
What
thing
could
first.
possibly go wrong?
First thing first, you're not allowed to move.
Right.
There.
Right.
Just stay right there. Don't move.
I'm going to intentionally fail at this.
Go on, let's
What have I got to do?
There is no.
You gotta kick your glasses off his head.
There's no.
Phil Mickelson did this.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You gotta serious. You gotta do a round out.
Go on,
round out kick.
Have a stretch.
Your jeans are very tight.
Yeah. You need a roundhouse kick.
Listen, skinny jeans, you ready?
No, I don't think they were skinny like
I'll take
a couple of runs ago.
Right, I might have to take my jeans off for this.
That's it. Not doing that.
Stay there, stay there. Stay there.
Hey, I didn't do bad, did I?
No, it was close.
Yeah.
It was really close. It was close. It was really close.
We lost him for this
Hey.
season.
Like the skinny jeans, son, didn't you? Hey, I got legs. I got
Why are you
legs like
touching
Stuart.
your legs?
I got legs like Stuart Holden.
How is that a boast? Right. That's it.
Well,
Oh dear.
okay. I tell you what,
And they pay us for
I
this.
think I've put my pelvis out again.
ESPN FC returns tomorrow without Craig. Probably will be his
his pelvis.
chiropractor. I didn't really like that. I saw a bit too much.
You only saw the soles of my trainers.
ESPN FC returns tomorrow.
Oh my God. How high did I get that then? Never had it warm up.
Would you want Paul Pogba in your team? Specifically, if you're Barcelona, Ali, would you want Paul Pogba right now?
If the price is right.
What's the price?
I have no idea. I don't control the market, Ross. Do you think I'm the one?
No, but what would be a right price?
Oh,
Sorry.
well, okay. People are throwing numbers out there that are just ridiculous in the $200 million sort of situation. Well, no. And look, this situation with Paul Pogba and Jose Mourinho and Manchester United reflects poorly on everybody, including Paul Pogba. Now, it's easy to say, well, if you can get the Paul Pogba that plays for France, that just won the World Cup, then who wouldn't want Paul Pogba? Well, yes, if. And it sounds like a big if, because the truth of the matter is that Paul Pogba right now, whether it's Jose Mourinho's fault, whether it's Paul Pogba's responsibility, is not playing well. And so his market value is also going down. Just the same way as Jose Mourinho's and the perception of Jose Mourinho as a manager is also going down. Paul Pogba's personal value, I believe, on the field right now is not enough for somebody to go crazy for him.
Do you think, however, if it were a Mourinho problem, you could remove that, put him into the Barcelona midfield, and you get that player, the player for France?
Maybe so, but I still don't think that I would go break the bank for him. The issue is, though, that we don't even know what the bank is anymore. See, money has become a non-issue for a lot of these clubs, to the point to where people are just throwing money around for players that are less talented than Paul Pogba. And so you could make the argument, well, if Paul Pogba plays the way that he plays for France, that he played at the World Cup, then yes, any team could use him. But how many teams out there can really go get him? And Barcelona is one of those few teams that can go get him. I just don't think that at this point, Paul Pogba is worth whatever that market's out there. His value is going down, and it will continue to go down so long as Jose Mourinho and him continue to go in a back and forth that doesn't benefit anybody, including both of them.
And for you, Barcelona don't need to break the bank for that position for him?
No. Barcelona has other issues. It's out of the midfield, it's not exactly the problem. It's when Iñaki Williams from Athletic Bilbao runs at you, and he's not the most skillful player in the world, and he's creating all sorts of problems for you. Anytime that he got in behind Gerard Piqué's, it's saying, okay, well, who's going to help me defensively? Because I sure as I cannot defend 1v1 situation. The issues from Barcelona are elsewhere, not in that position.
Okay, so whether it is a move that comes about in January, whether it comes in the summer, whether Manchester United hang on to their man, at the moment, for Ali at least, Paul Pogba not a midfield mover for Barcelona. Welcome into the studio. Let's get you caught up on the top 10 performers in this weekend's power rankings across the European leagues. Alejandro Moreno.
According to whom?
According to the editorial team.
Yeah. I didn't pick this.
No, you didn't pick this.
I am detaching myself from it.
But we're relying on you to dissect.
Okay, to break it down.
To break it down.
All right.
So talk us through then some of the performances here, starting with Yusuf Poulsen in 10th, all the way through to Cristiano Ronaldo, a controversial choice perhaps in number 1.
Maybe so. However, in what was the biggest game in Italy, certainly this weekend against Napoli, in one that you may consider, you know what, they've created just enough separation with that win, I don't think anybody's catching Juventus. And I thought that it was a statement performance, not only by Juventus, but Cristiano Ronaldo in particular. His best performance for Juventus against Napoli in a game that they needed to win just simply to create that level of confidence and say, you know what, we're better than everybody else in this league. He didn't score a goal, and yet he impacted the game in every which way possible other than certainly scoring. And he would tell you scoring is for him a priority, but he was the best player on the field, and everything and anything that happened in the final third came through Cristiano Ronaldo. Old school Cristiano performance. All of a sudden, he's taking people on the left-hand side, crossing the ball over, then cutting inside, hitting it. Not just a guy who's appearing in the 18-yard box, but creating things off the dribble as well. I thought he was excellent.
Okay, Mandzukic got 2 of the 3 goals.
Yep.
He's in at number 7. A man who got 2 goals at the weekend, who we've not talked about much this season, Christoph Piatek of Genoa. There are calls that maybe his 8 goals so far in the league, leading scorer, could see him move to a big team soon, maybe even Juventus.
Maybe, but here's the thing. The reason we haven't heard of Piatek in the past is because there's been a lack of consistency with his performances. If Piatek had been a guy scoring 20 goals per season, he would have been in everybody's radar already. The truth is that he had a very good weekend. He's had a good start of the season, but let's just see where he's at in December, and let's just. At that point, we'll suggest that maybe it's time for him to move in the winter market.
Okay, Pellegrini doing well in the Rome derby. Who else stands out for you in this list?
Unai Simón. He was excellent against Real Madrid a couple of weeks ago. I said he had to be in the list then, and he was excellent again against Barcelona. So 2 big games for Athletic Bilbao. Unai Simón has come up with the saves. Now, if you're Athletic Bilbao, you got to go, oh, no. This can't be happening again. Kepa, he gone. Unai Simón, he's doing well. Does that mean that this guy's gone as well at some point? He may just be the next guy. The next guy that makes a statement for himself and that comes out of nowhere to be an important player in the market.
Okay, Sigurdsson with 2 goals against his old club Fulham. Suso gets his first competitive goal since February, as Milan really needed those. One big mention for Alfred Finnbogason. A hat-trick for Augsburg against Freiburg. They won 4-1. This is the same fixture in which he scored a hat-trick last season. It was only good enough for a 3-3 draw last year. This time, they get all 3 points.
And I appreciate it. I'm curious. Did these guys watch Chelsea play? Because if you watch Chelsea play, you have to have Eden Hazard on this list.
I'm sure they did.
The guy is playing at a high level, and an incredibly high level. He's now separating himself and sort of approaching the level of the very, very elite. And he's doing it on a weekly basis. He certainly had a great game. Could have perhaps put the game away. Maybe that's why he's not included in the list, but scored a nice goal. And anything and everything that you see Eden Hazard do in that final third, similarly to Cristiano Ronaldo, Chelsea benefits from it. The other thing is, at some point, we have to include defensive players. Virgil van Dijk was good. David Luiz was good. So I'm merely suggesting that we open up the world to a whole different perspective, that maybe it's not just about your boy Finnbogason scoring goals or Piatek scoring goals. There are a lot of good performances across Europe.
And not just about Athletic Bilbao's goalkeeper. Other goalkeepers too, perhaps.
Yeah, well, that's entirely up to you. There is more out there. Virgil van Dijk was very good. David Luiz was very good. Hazard was very good. You know, I leave you with that. You tell those guys.
It's a message to the audience, but really I think it's a message to our own team.
Well,
we'll see if it makes a difference for next week's Power Rankings. Unmissable action, as always, here at ESPN FC. Welcome into the Champions League Predictor. We've got 5 of the 8 matches from Tuesday's round for you. Match day 2 is upon us. Alejandro Moreno going head-to-head with me, and we'll start with an easy one. I think it's easy. Juventus and Young Boys.
No Ronaldo, no problem.
I'm with you.
Okay.
2 wins out of 2 for Juventus.
Even if they bring the old boys, it wouldn't work out?
Oh, no problem at all.
All right.
Hoffenheim against Manchester City.
Manchester City loses the first game at home. They need to go away from home and do something positive. 3 points.
They will do something positive. Kevin Volk is out for Hoffenheim. They were awful defensively at the weekend. And still, I can't pick them.
You're not really good at this, are you, Russ? It's very simple. You just... Yeah, there you go. Good job. Hey.
Same thing happened with Roma last round. That didn't work out too well for me. Bayern Munich against Ajax.
Bayern Munich struggling. They lost on Friday, maybe some concerns. Now they're trailing Borussia Dortmund in the league. Doesn't matter. Bayern Munich, they win it at home.
They will, following up their win against Benfica.
There you go, Russ.
Getting the hang of it.
So proud of you.
One finger, that's all it takes. CSKA Moscow against Real Madrid.
No Bale? No problem. Doesn't matter. Real Madrid go to Moscow and they get it done.
They do. CSKA Moscow earning a point late on in their first game against Pilsen.
Oh, thank you for that.
Manchester United against Valencia, big one.
Big one, yes, indeed. It's a must, and I do think that Manchester United, I don't know if it is so much about them as it is the fact that Valencia haven't been all that great, so there is no confidence in Valencia. Manchester United barely get it done at home.
They look good or they don't look good? They don't.
Manchester United?
Yeah, for
they
you
never look good.
They won't turn it on.
Well, they may turn it on, but their version of on is not that powerful, let me just tell you.
I think they're going to come up short. I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
So we'll see. So
why are you asking me if you're saying that they're going to come up short?
No, because you said they're going to win. Right?
Just.
I just didn't know whether they were going to look good winning or not.
At this point, it doesn't matter. At this point, you just got to win if you're Manchester United.
3 points for Manchester United for LA. Let us know what you think as well in the predictors. Do we get close? Hold us to account at ESPN FC. Match day 2 of the UEFA Champions League sees United come in with 3 points from their away game against Young Boys up against a Valencia side at Old Trafford who are in a bit of a state themselves. United not in the best of form at LA, but do they need to take the 3 points in this one?
Yes, 100% they need the 3 points for all sorts of reasons. The circumstance right now in Manchester United is such that any result, any positive result is something that they can hang on to and perhaps create some momentum. Although I don't think would be long-lasting because this Jose Mourinho, Paul Pogba, Manchester United, they're not winning. All of these things are going to get worse before they get better. But if you get 3 points at home against Valencia in the Champions League, you may just say, well, you know, 2 games in Champions League, 2 wins, everything is okay. We're going to move forward. It's going to be all fine from here on out. I don't think that that will be the case long-term. But I do think that this is a must-win for Manchester United. The counter-argument to that is if they don't beat Valencia at home, now what?
Juventus.
Now Juventus twice. And so then you start thinking about, well, what are the long-term prospects for this team, not only in the Premier League, but also in Champions League, and it doesn't look great. So, yes, 3 points are a must for Manchester United.
Last year they struggled against Sevilla, not just away from home where they managed a 0-0 draw, they got knocked out at home. Do you think Valencia are in the kind of shape in terms of quality, without the results, that they could trouble United at Old Trafford?
Well, the truth is that Valencia have been awful in the start of La Liga. They simply have not been able to get the results. And so they are in a prime situation for United to come in with some sort of, all right, we need 3 points, we're going to establish ourselves, and we have superior players, we have more talents, we're going to showcase that out on the field. The thing is that you don't know what you're going to get from Manchester United. Manchester United right now do not know exactly what is it that they're going to get out of themselves. Jose Mourinho doesn't know what he's going to get out of his team. The players don't know what they're going to get out of Jose Mourinho. And so anybody that plays Manchester United right now has a chance. Even at Old Trafford, the intimidation level of Old Trafford and Manchester United continues to decrease. And the more that they fail in terms of getting results, the more it decreases, the lower it gets. Valencia has as good a chance as anybody else to go in there and get a result. And if that's the case, then everybody goes into panic mode at Manchester United, and so they should.
OK, well, Valencia haven't yet won at Old Trafford in 4 visits previously, although they did score on each of the last 2 trips to the northwest of England. Keep it here at ESPN FC, that match on Tuesday as part of the Champions League coverage.
I don't know if this is I don't remember Valverde doing this much last year, if at all. You know, we've always talked about Messi and Ronaldo as 2 players that, when fit, have generally always played. Unless they've had a niggle or something. They have always played week in, week out. and rarely being rested. This new way of Valverde or Barcelona trying to operate isn't working. That being said, they could quickly turn this on a dime, going to Tottenham to play Tottenham. I mean, they're the type of side, Barcelona, with the type of players that they could just turn it like that. And I think that's what Valverde's waiting on. The big problem is, domestically, that it's going to be a tough whole season this year with Real Madrid and more so Atletico Madrid banging on the door.
And if they are going to turn it around, it's going to have to come, not necessarily because these guys have to play better in the attack. Defensively, they have to be better. Barcelona is to the point now to where whenever another team simply dumps a ball over the top, and it's panic station. It's everybody running all over the place, really, without having a clear idea or a clear path as to what we need to do defensively. There are mistakes coming from everywhere. And more worryingly than anything, when Barcelona is losing possession of the ball in the attacking half, usually Barcelona at their best is able to get it right back. That's not happening. Because that's not happening, that ball over the top is happening, and then the speed of other players with agility, with athleticism, say Iñaki Williams, for example, who apparently became a superstar over the weekend, he's causing problems for Barcelona. And that's the case for Barcelona against any team that they play right now. Too much time on the ball. Once they lose it, then the ball is over the top, and you're getting mistakes from everywhere in the back line.
Look, the thing is, pound for pound, yes, Barcelona are a far better team. My concern with them is they only seem to turn it on, to Craig's point, when Lionel Messi is on the park. Nobody else is able, has the character, the personality to step up and take games by the scruff of the neck. But if they follow Lionel Messi's lead, then everything seems to click. So now this game hinges, well, for Barcelona, hinges on Lionel Messi. At the same time, Ali spoke about their deficiencies at the back, exposure to pace, when you've got Lucas Moura, and in particular, Heung-min Son, who Pochettino likes to call on when he needs pace, you have a huge problem. Iñaki Williams is one thing. Moura and Son, with Kane up front, is another. Can Barcelona make those adjustments, not just going forward, but at the back? That's a big question.
I think that's one of the problems for Valverde coming into this game, and I don't know how much he takes note of other teams. I presume he's not that arrogant that he thinks, you know, we're just too good. Maybe in years gone by, Barcelona could do that, but I don't think they can do it at the moment. The problem is for Valverde is you try and second-guess how he's going to play when nobody has a clue what Pochettino's going to do. Xhaka reeled off a couple of names there of Lucas Moura and Heung-min Son. Christ, we don't even know what he's going to play, a back four, a back three, who's going to play in the middle, whether these guys are going to play. So try to prepare to play against Tottenham is the difficult part of it, because he changes his team so many times.
Sid, how do you think this game's going to go?
Well, I mean, you know, you're talking about the position of Messi. One of the reasons why they rotated Messi is because, of course, they were very conscious of the fact that last year they didn't rotate and they went to Roma and got beaten. And Luis Suarez himself said he regretted having not rested the game against Leganés 3 days before. So I think this is telling you something about the importance of the Champions League. I think Barcelona at the moment look open. I think they look fragile in a way they didn't last year by going to 4-3-3. They have a man-fewer midfield. And to be honest with you, I think this will be difficult for Barcelona. Bear in mind, they've got a very poor away record in the Champions League already. I believe it's only one win in the last 7 trips on the road.